Welcome to Bunnyfish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as Bunnyfish on Revelry, Instagram, and YouTube. Today is Tuesday, the 27th of January, 2015, and this is episode 113, Baby Stuff. Grab some sticks and string and come sit with me. So Tuesday seems to be the new recording day. Third week in a row. I guess I'll just go with it. If I feel like recording on Monday next week, I will, but I don't know, Mondays have just felt really, really hectic, and also a lot of school holidays are on Mondays. So there's that. Yesterday I didn't record because Gabriel had a snow day, which wasn't really a snow day. Like, there was snow on the ground, but it was a dusting. It was not real snow. And by 10 a.m. it was all gone, and schools were canceled for the entire day. Ridiculous. In my opinion, like, if it's under 5 inches of snow, you can probably send your kid to school. Also, it wasn't even close because it was very, very cold. It was like 21 degrees out in the morning, which is acceptable for kids going to school. But I don't make the rules, I just follow them. Anyway, steampunk knit along, still going on. I still did not work on mine, but I'll show you what I'm working on. I'm working on my own pattern, which is called A Cog in the Machine. And the yarn that I'm using is from Marigold Jen in the, is it bronze or copper patina colorway? I don't recall. I think it's copper patina. So this is what it's looking like. And yeah, I just haven't worked on it because I'll show you what I've been working on. But it's beautiful and I look forward to getting back to it. The yarn is beautiful to look at and lovely to work with, and I really, really like this project, but it's not been the priority. I'm working it on US size 4, which is 3.75 millimeter, 3.5, no, 3.5, I think, 3.5 millimeters. And it is in my kitchen counter crafter bag, which is javajohnny.etsy.com. Yes. So, show you. There we go. You can't see it, and I'm totally messing up with this camera. Okay, that's as good as it's gonna get. So, I really like this project. It's just not been the priority. That knit along, anything steampunk related, if you can make the argument for it, I will trust you that it's steampunk. You can get up to 3 entries per project. The first entry will be for finishing a steampunk project. The second entry will be if you used my pattern or Lisa's pattern, and the third entry will be if it's Marigold Jen's yarn. Works in progress can be okay. So if you started it last year or 4 years ago or whatever and finish it in that time frame, that's totally acceptable. On to the baby stuff. That's what I worked on this week because my nephew is due next month. He's growing. He's healthy. Everything's good as far as that's going on. So yay that. I finished, but you know, he's due at the middle of the month. So it's the end of January. He's due mid-February. I would like to finish stuff and get it sent out very soon so it can get there for his arrival, since most of the stuff that I'm making is like newborn stuff. Or, you know, like 1 month old stuff. So I'm just trying to get through it. I made the Tiramisu blanket by Alicia Paulson. The body color, this yarn is I Love This Yarn Sport Weight in Naturals Multi. I held it double so that I would not have to be crocheting forever and ever and ever, because Sport Weight held double is worsted Aran area. So it worked up really nicely for that. And then for the border, I used Red Heart Super Saver and Coffee for this, or this is what that is. Sorry. Everybody's home and everybody's talking, and I hope that you can't hear them, but I can hear them. So I'm getting a little distracted. So yeah, this is Coffee, and you're actually supposed to put a ribbon through here, but I don't feel comfortable putting a ribbon through something for a newborn. When the baby's older, I won't be so nervous about it, But for a newborn, I was like, it's fine. It doesn't need a ribbon. And if my sister-in-law wants a ribbon in it, she can put a ribbon in it when she gets it. And then these shell edge things are Red Heart Essentials in the Robin Egg colorway. And she actually gave me this yarn several years ago, 4, maybe 5 years ago. 4, I think is more accurate, to make a baby blanket for her friend, but her friend ended up having a girl and was very like gender specific on colors. So I've had this yarn sitting in my stash, and you can see I have this skein, I have another skein that's right next to my head, and then the remnants of a third skein at the top of this bin over here. So I decided I would use up a little bit of that in her baby blanket since it's for her baby. And to show you what I have finished this week, I left the ends in. I did the magic knot for it, and I was not to this part yet, so I was probably a few rows below that. So I did all of this and the border. I will open it up so you can see the blanket, kind of. That's what it looks like. Hopefully she will like it. It was a really easy pattern to follow. I did make a change to the border other than switching the colors. My shells were not looking as nice as the shells in the pattern. It's a free pattern through a blog. So you're supposed to make the shell, skip a space, single crochet, skip a space, make a shell. So it would have been really spread out, but mine just looked too spread out. It may have been yarn gauge or who knows what, but I opted to just make a shell in one space, slip stitch in the next space, make a shell in the next space, and do it like that. So I did more shells than the pattern called for, but I like the way that it turned out. And I'm really pleased with the colors that I chose to do the border in. I chose to do border in a different color because for the size I wanted, I had this much yarn left. So definitely not enough for a border. I also started and finished a baby frog cocoon hat and booties set by Birdie Gilhome. So this is the cocoon. I used Red Heart soft yarn, which is really, really soft. If you're going to work in acrylic and you're going to go with Red Heart, I would say for baby things, this is perfect. So the light green is guacamole. This creamy color is off-white, and then the darker green is grass green. So there's the cocoon. I'm going to attempt to show you both of these at once without dropping things. Okay, so cocoon and hat. And I'm pretty pleased with the hat because I was working on it at Knit Group and my family came up to pick me up. We went to lunch beforehand, so Steve was like, I'll just drop you off on my way. Or we'll go to the library or whatever. So I'll drop you off, we'll go to the library, we'll come back and pick you up, and we'll play with the trains. My Knit Group meets at a Barnes & Noble that has a cafe. So we sit in the cafe, and the Barnes & Noble has a train area in the kids area. So they stopped in, and I had just finished the hat, and Gabriel was like, oh, Mom, that's such a cool frog hat. And I was like, yes, success. It looks like what it's supposed to look like. So that's the hat. And then the ends are woven in on those everything so far, except I have to cut those. I have to trim the ends from my magic knot, and they're not woven in on the booties. I accidentally changed the pattern on these. Well, okay, back up. So I used 3 colors of yarn. The pattern calls for 2 colors. It calls for a solid and a variegated, but my sister-in-law sent me this yarn and she sent me the 3 colors, so I striped it instead of worrying about variegated. Anyway, other than striping instead of just working all these rows as they were written, I also accidentally did not pay attention to the directions for the leg. It says to single crochet through the back loop for the entire cuff, and I did not. I just single crocheted through both loops. So what that would have done if I had single crocheted through the back loop is it would have made a ribbing around the leg of the booties. So they're not ribbed, but by the time I realized, I was like, well, I don't really want to rip out the rectangle, so I'll just go with it. So this is the booty. It's got a long leg, and then the foot and the bottom of the foot where I have to weave in ends. I think it's super cute. I hope that my sister-in-law loves it because, I don't know, it's really, really cute. I wish that I had been more crafty when my kids were very little so I could have dressed them up in all of these adorable things. But I was not. I was just learning how to knit when Mara was born. I didn't know how to do it when Gabriel was born. I did make him that rabbit though, so. Anyway, I'm very crafty now for other people and sometimes them. Works in progress. Well, mostly I've been going monogamous. So except, you know, I traded off. It's been mostly monogamous because I've been working. And I don't have a lot of crafting time during the day. So most of my crafting time is when I have nights off. Well, I've been working, and I needed to take easy projects that I could work on in 15 minutes and not have to worry about finding patterns and stuff. Which is why the cocoon hat and boots got finished. So I have another project that's almost finished, but I can't show it to you because it's a design project and the yarn is a surprise. So it's in my Sewn by Lindsay bag. And here is the tag. Sewn by Lindsay.etsy.com. It's the tetrahedron sock bag, which I love. This is my favorite bag to take to work to carry projects in. And the project that's in it should be finished today, so I will have time to work on other projects that I will be able to show you next week. But I'll be able to show it to you soon. Not that you'll know that this is what I'm talking about, but whatever. So I have a secret project that I've been working on. And I also started casting on, but did not finish casting on, a baby surprise jacket, which is by Elizabeth Zimmerman. So I'm using US size 3. I've started casting on, and the pattern is a recipe, sort of. Like, you find your gauge with your yarn, and then that tells you which size of the garment you're going to make, and you change the size by changing the gauge. The yarn that I'm using is Bernat Softy Baby in the Little Trees colorway. I have 2 skeins, but I won't use both of them for the baby sweater because it's a lot of yardage per skein. This is really boring for you, about 310 yards per skein, so I should only need part of one for a baby sweater. But I really look forward to making it because it looks kind of like magic. You knit this thing and it's kind of weird shape, and then you put it together and it's like, oh, baby sweater, magic. So I'm looking forward to the magic. I love magical knitting. Do you like magical knitting? I know I've talked about this before, but not in a while. I love magical knitting, where, like, to a non-knitter, it would just be like, what just happened? Like socks. You're knitting, you get to the heel, and then you turn the heel or make the heel or whatever you're doing with the heel, and it's no longer a tube, it's something that's foot-shaped. Magic. I love that. I would say heels are probably my favorite parts of the socks in theory, but in knitting, they're not. It's a very strange relationship I have with heels. So yes, baby surprise jacket will be coming. After the baby surprise jacket, I want to make the baby a toy, and then I think I will have completed all of the things that I had set out to make for the baby. So I won't have it all finished this month, which was my goal, but I knew that was a crazy goal when I went into it, I started another barn raising square. This one is number 8 of 200 something, I think. This yarn is the watermelon colorway from the Hippie Penguin and Spartacus Dyes County Fair Club that they did together. So this is a Hippie Penguin yarn, and look at how cute. I made socks for Mara out of this yarn. Those were her Christmas socks. It's just barely started. I really want to get to the point where I'm making 1 square a week. Maybe after I get the baby things done and I don't feel like there's such a crunch, like such a deadline to work on things. I feel like I'm still on deadline knitting right now. But after that, I only have like 2 or 3 things that are deadline knitting before Christmas. And then, of course, Christmas, there's tons of deadline things. Let's not talk about it right now. New things. I have another fiber from Josh and another yarn from Josh from Christmas. This is Police Box Blue, Blue-Faced Leicester, BFL. It's a 25 to 27 micron, and that's what it is. And it's from Alonzi Yarns. No, you can't see that. There we go, Alonzi Yarns. And it is Pantone matched to be Police Box Blue. It's very, very soft. And I have 3.96 ounces. So that's beauteous. I'm excited. You know how I feel about BFL. I love BFL. So I'm excited for that. And this yarn is pretty exciting. It is Madeline Tosh lace. So it's 950 yards of lace weight. I have a little bit of lace weight in my stash, but not a lot, and not in this color. Oh my gosh. I need to start knitting lace weight things. What do you think? You think I should knit lace weight this year? I think I should. I think that I should make a project with lace weight this year. It's time. Because I have lace weight sitting in my stash waiting for me. So I'm pretty excited about that. And did you notice that he sent me a skein of Madeline Tosh? Like, that's his one true yarny love. I mean, he has like side things with other yarns, but Mad Tosh, that's his thing. So yeah, I'm excited for this. Look at how pretty that color is. On to what I am reading. I am still listening to Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell, and I am almost halfway through. That's my marker. I'm actually going today before work to pick up the next set of discs because I think I have 1 disc left in my sleeve and I'm almost through with the disc that I'm on. So I'll be picking that up today. I'm pretty sure I said that last week, but I keep saying I'm going to do things and then all the things get in the way. Are you having this? All of my friends are having this too, where we're just more busy than we realize. When did that happen? I don't know. It's been like that the past several months for all of us. Are you guys having that too? I know some of you are. I know some of you are like moving to crazy places and stuff. So I know that you're in this crazy place with me. I kind of feel like I'm in a crazy place and everyone else is still. And then I realize that my friends are in this crazy place too. And I'm like, I don't want that for you. It's just, oh my gosh, it's so much. Okay. So, Gone with the Wind. I'm enjoying the story more now. The characters are becoming more people than less like 2-dimensional. So I appreciate that. And it's an interesting story. The other book that I have been reading is An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. I had just started it last week, and I almost finished it last night. But I'm on the epilogue, but I got this is where the epilogue starts. I got to about here, and that's how many pages are after. And I dropped the book on my face. So I was like, oh, I guess I should probably go to sleep now. So I'll be finishing this, shortly. Maybe immediately after finishing recording while I'm waiting for it to get into the editing software. Who knows? It is so good. It is A Fault in Our Stars good, but it is safe for work. You're not going to bust out crying reading this book. It's so funny. I actually laugh out loud to this book. I think there have been 5 different instances, and I don't care where I am when I'm reading. If I think it's funny, I'm laughing. So one time was at knitting, and several times was reading before bed or in the middle of the day or whatever. And Steve was like, "What's funny?" And I was like, it's funny, but it's not funny in a way where you can just read the line and someone will think it's funny. Like, you need to know the history and the backstory. It's a very layered book. Highly, highly recommend it. It's very good. It's young adult, so it goes pretty fast. It's about teenagers who are late teens. I'm really, really enjoying it. I like it very much. Definitely recommend it. Okay, and the last thing that I have to talk to you about today is James's prize from my podiversary. So James, Dancing Geek, if you are watching right now and you have not received your package, please go away so your prize is not ruined. Your surprise, rather, is not ruined. Side note, while I'm waiting for you to go away, so when I went to the post office to send out the package, I was sending out a lot of packages because Christmas presents and stuff were finished late. You know, all the things I talked about last week. So I was sending those out, and I got up to the counter. They didn't have any international packing slips out where I could find them. So I got to the counter and I was like, can I have an international packing slip? And I'll fill that out while you're processing the other things. So the guy started processing things, and I filled out the packing slip very quickly because this is not my first time sending things internationally. And he got through. I finished filling it out before he got through processing the other packages, and he picked up the paper and he was like, "Okay, so this must be the international." And he was like, "Oh, you filled out everything. This must not be your first time." And I was like, "No, it's not." It was amusing to me in the moment because, you know, there's a lot of things that you need to do on those forms, like a lot of places where you need to fill out other things. Anyway, he should be gone by now. And James, if you're not, shame on you, and I'm going to ruin your surprise. So what I made for James, which is already in the mail, obviously, is the string band hat by Stephen West. This is a paid for pattern, and I used recommended needle sizes except for the ribbing. I used a US 2. The pattern calls for a 3, but on my string band hat, I find that the yarn, the band stretches out really fast and it slips back a lot. And I know part of that is because of the weight of the buttons especially, but I hope that by going down in needle size, that will help that part of the hat stay on. So I used a 2 for the ribbing, 4 for the body, and then a 3 for the band that the string goes through. And instead of knitting the I-cord, because that's crazy, I just crocheted it. I did a long chain, and then I slip stitched my way back through the back loop of that, and that was my I-cord. So much faster than knitting an I-cord. Unless you have one of those little machines, and then that would be faster probably. But I don't, so I crocheted it. The yarn I used, again, I don't know what it is. It was stash stuff. The green was from the heels and toes of the socks that I made for my brother and Lucas. And the orange and black and cream variegated yarn is stuff that Haley sent me a very long time ago. I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago. May have been longer than that. A very long time ago, she sent me that yarn. And it didn't have a tag. So I used some buttons from my stash, some green buttons, and they're just plastic, but I think they look nice on the hat, and if they are not what James wants, I mean, buttons are really easy to replace. So James did not give me a lot of input on what he wanted, so I hope he likes what he gets, because it was kind of just a, oh my gosh, these are like all the types of things that I like, and I don't have any color preferences, and I just want you to make me something. So that's what I went with. Hopefully he'll use it and he'll like it. I like the hat. I think it fits very well. I even like the colors, not necessarily for me because of which color was where on the hat, but I like it, and I think the colors will look good on him, so hopefully he will like it. And that is all I have for you this week. I hope you made something fantastic with your sticks and string, and I hope to see you next week. Bye!